All right, guys. Just wrapped up this killer looking 2024 Denali HD Ultimate. This one came to us out of Ohio. It's got the 7 to 9 McGaughys lift. It is sitting at 9 inches. On the wheels and tires, did a 24 by 14 KG1 Heathen. I believe it's how you say this one. It's going to have the concave spokes on it, meaning they have a slight concavity where the spokes lean forward. Gives it kind of a three-dimensional, more 3D look to it. It doesn't really pick up on camera or film real well, but it looks really cool in person. The concave wheels, to me, look a lot better than the flat spokes, but that's just my opinion. Did the 37, 1350, 24 Nitto ridges. For tire clearance, we did have to move the bumper forward 3/4 of an inch, as well as trim the corner of the bumper, as you can see there. We did have to do the Kelderman caps. So this is going to be the Kelderman cap. As you see here, tapers back, gets rid of the whole mud flap, then it tapers back pretty steep, and then we trim the inner liner. Combining that with moving the bumper forward slightly, trimming it, and trimming some of your inner liner there, gives us enough clearance to be able to fit these. Now this is still going to be max tire size, so wouldn't go any bigger. Now I say max, that's if you're running a 14 wide wheel. If you wider the wheel, the more it's going to decrease your tire clearance. So if we change that to a 12 wide wheel, it's going to pull it in, and you could get away with 38. You go with a little bigger, so keep that in mind. Same concept, you move to a 10 wide, 9 wide, you go bigger still. So, and if you're looking at this thinking, I think I can go bigger and I've got a Chevy. Well, you're right, Chevys can run a little bit bigger. We've done the same setup with 40s on a 12 wide, and it worked out fine. So we've got a video on that one if you want to check it out as well. Now as far as options go, when you do the 9-inch, you're gonna have to add the torsion keys, you're gonna add the upper control arms. We also got the billet cap, that's another option on them. You'll see now that the face plates on these are polished instead of just a painted silver. That's a new upgrade that they had. They started doing this a few months ago. It just matches the rest of the kit, because as you can see, the rest of the kit's got the stainless accents on your kicker bars, on your torsion drop bracket, and of course on the front cross member itself. So it just kind of ties it all together and looks really nice. So these stainless accents are backing plates that are, you got individual bolts there that just kind of really give it a nice look. And even at 9 inches, we still got really good angles. This kit does use a singular skid plate, which is going to protect the most important part there. Got your extended sway bar links, and then your bump stop extensions, both on the front side of the control arm and the back side of the control arm. I'll go around the back and show you there. This one actually bolts into the cross member. So you see it does not have a non-torsion bracket like some of the other kits, because the torsion bar does go below the frame rail, as you can see here. If it was a non-torsion bracket kit, or if it was a non-torsion drop, it would keep the bars up above the frame rail, and then have a bracket sitting on the control arm that would raise the bar up and keep it in the factory spot, and then this would not be dropped down. Some people liked how it hangs down, just kind of gives it a nice visual look to it, but other people like it without it because it looks cleaner and gives more ground clearance. For this particular kit, it's only offered in the torsion drop version. The only 7 to 9 that I'm aware of that doesn't drop it is going to be the Cognito kit, just for reference. Most of the time it's going to be your smaller kits, like your 4, 6, some 7s, that'll keep the torsion bar up in the frame rail. You can see how massive the cross member is here. And this does have the new M84 shocks, and this is their new M84 Resi shocks. So if you're not familiar with M84, that is McGaughys' own in-house developed shock. They're designed and built in-house by McGaughys. And they completely spec them and tune them for each individual application. So they're not just a shock that they build that, oh, it'll fit this truck and it'll also fit this truck. It's valved specifically for what it's going to be used for. So I can get you in here. We've also got the new Cognito / Fox steering stabilizer. I mentioned this before, I really like the Cognito version of this because you can see the Schrader valve right there, and that allows me to adjust the nitrogen pressure in the stabilizer if I need to. Let me get you back in focus here. As clean as this truck looks, it did have a fairly muddy undercarriage, so I'm sure that whatever he uses this truck for, he does use it off-road or on some dirt roads of some kind. So right now, the truck has set to be visually level. So what I mean by that is, if you measure from the tire to the fender, we're about 3/4 of an inch high in the front. If you set a level on the frame or the bed, it's still tail high slightly. And that's because the rear fender line is cut slightly lower than the front fender line. So just like to mention that if you set them both dead level, which is fine, you can do that, technically the truck's still a little rear high. But there's a fine line to it, because if you go much past that, then it starts looking like it's got too much front fender gap and it's got a lean on it. And that's not my personal taste. Obviously some people like it like that. Everybody's got their own style, but this is how we set them, unless asked to do otherwise by the customer. As far as the rear, give you one more look at these wheels. We're actually putting spike lug nuts on these. That's the only thing we lack on it, is the lug nuts, and they sent us the wrong ones and they're out for delivery. So as soon as they get here, we will swap the lug nuts out and it'll be ready for the customer. One really nice thing that I'm glad that McGaughys finally started doing is coating their U-bolts. They used to not be coated and we would have to paint them, which was a pain. Also, painting them versus a zinc coating like this, the zinc is much more durable. So every time I open a box of those, I get very excited. We've got another McGaughys kit we're putting on in the other bay up front, and same story. Got the zinc coated U-bolts, and got just as happy on that one. Again, we got the M84 Resi shocks. So you'll see here it's a 7 to 9 lift, so they give you these shims that go in the spring pack. These are not just sitting on top of the block. The center bolt runs completely through it. And so you can, there's a 1/4 inch thick. You can use up to 4 of them, which will give you an inch to fine tune the ride height that you want. And this is using all of them, so it's gonna be a max. Give you one more walk around the truck. Really nice looking setup. And in contrast to this massive beast, we've got this one that we're going to do the 4-inch Cognito on, which is going to look really nice as well. I cannot remember the details on the wheel and tire, but I'm sure we'll do a video on it as well. I believe it's also getting the same size tire, but we're going to be running these on a factory wheel. Again, the wider the wheel, the more it decreases your tire clearance, which is why you can run a taller tire on a factory wheel with a positive offset you're gonna have the max tire clearance. That way, as long as it doesn't if it inset too far or you put too wide a tire on it, you will have problems with it rubbing on the control arm. So there's a fine line there. You gotta balance it just right. All right, that's it on this one, guys. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, stay tuned for more.